What's up, everyone? Sugar Nothing but Trouble 1220, and I'm here today to do a video response. First of all, if you are not subscribed to the 4 Degrees of Black channel featuring Invincible, Y2 TV, your boy Pat, and Verbally Unspoken, then you need to go ahead and do so right now. I'm going to put that information right over here in the info box, and I'm going to need you to get into that immediately. These are 4 African American young men, bright, credentialed, all of which who have powerful point of views and perspectives on topics that are, affecting all of us today. Let me take off this scarf. I'm fresh in from work, so you'll have to forgive me looking a little frazzled dazzled. However, I wanted to get on camera because I watched this video at work and was literally itching, like literally at my desk, like, you must do a video in response to this video that you're watching. I even jotted down some notes, so I'm gonna get right on in. The topic that the gentlemen were discussing was corporal punishment, or the question was to spank or not to spank, to beat or not to beat, yada yada yada. Verbally Unspoken raised the question, and he raised some very powerful points, largely based on some studies that have been done on children of families that utilize corporal punishment or physical discipline to discipline their children, which has some powerful findings in that, I believe it said that children from these children who had been physically disciplined were more apt to be more aggressive and didn't perform as well cognitively as some of their peers or some of the other children that were studied that were not disciplined physically. So let me just get on in and say, I for one am a strong believer in the use of physical punishment, spankings, beatings, whippings. Now, all of you who subscribe to me know that I do not in any way, shape, form, or fashion condone abuse. But I was spanked, and I have every intention on spanking my children for some very significant reasons. When used in combination with other means of discipline, it is very advantageous in successful behavior modification. How you doing? In other words, I mean, it works. There are some children who respond to firm tones, who you don't have to tell things 1,000 times. There are children who respond to that, and those children may not necessarily need to be spanked. However, if your child was anything like me, we like to push the envelope. We like to test boundaries. We like to see just how far your I guess you could say power, or I mean, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. We just want to see how far we can push the envelope in terms of like, well, I'm going to get away with as much as I possibly can. Now, my brother, on the other hand, like, I got a lot of spankings as a child, well into my teenage years, right across my face, because I have a lot of mouth, and that's just my personality required that form of punishment. Now, my brother, on the other hand, did not get half of the punishment, half of the spankings that I got, because we have 2 totally different personalities. I'm gonna say between the ages of 7 and 13, I got a lot of spankings, and after a while, it was just like, these spankings aren't working, so what else am I to do as a parent in order to get my child together? And that's when, I started getting privileges taken away, and ignoring me was one of the main things that got me like, okay, I got to do this because I don't like to be ignored. Now, when I was on punishment, a lot of times that meant that nobody in the house talked to me. And that was what was really clicked in my mind, and that's what was, and that was for my personality. Like, some people don't mind being ignored. They're just like, whatever. My brother, whatever. Don't talk to me. I don't give a crap. But me, I was one like, why isn't anyone talking to me? I'm sorry. I won't do it again. So it shouldn't just be like, oh, I'm gonna get beat, and it should always accompany some sort of conversation. Like, I never got a beating that I didn't know what I was getting beaten for, and I never got a beating that I didn't deserve. I just know that, no form of discipline, whether it be spanking, whether it be timeouts, is effective if it's not explained and if it's not consistently enforced. Why is it, like, I watch shows like The Super Nanny all the time, and my, like, constant problem and issue that I have with these shows is that why are we asking 2 and 3 year olds to do things as if they are contributors to this household, as if their opinion really, in the broad scheme of things, really matters? Like, we need to be training these individuals to know that at some point you're going to have to do various things that you don't want to do, and you're going to have to do some things because I said so. Like, whatever happened to because I said so? And I think that we've given far too much power to these little people, asking them what they think, asking them how they feel. Yes, these things are valid and important, and we don't want them to ever feel like they don't count or matter. But at the end of a very long day, I am the parent. You will do as I say do. It's very simple. Children need order. Children need structure. And sometimes parents have to put a little bass in their voice. Needs to be a little yoking. I mean, again, personality-wise, like some children can get a stern look and they have the fear of God struck into them. But people like me, I needed to be hemmed up in order to know that certain things in this house were not going to go down. I think you're setting your child up for a lot of disappointment in the future. Some hard lessons to be learned. We got to break these people down to know that there is order, there is structure in society, there is structure in the workplace, there is structure at school, there is structure everywhere. So what makes you feel like you can just run amok in my house? I'm just saying. My mother and I were spanked. My mother and her siblings were spanked. And I think we're all stand-up people. We know right from wrong. We know the difference between abuse and punishment. And sometimes you just gotta let somebody know that you're not playing. Like, I'm gonna give y'all an example. Or we put on these gloves and we use these soft voices and pleases and thank yous. No, that's unrealistic. We're setting these children up. Watching The Super Nanny, for example. Little girl, I don't remember what her name was. Let's say it was Trixie. Trixie comes in the kitchen and mom's making macaroni and cheese. She asks, "Moms, what's for dinner?" Mom says, "Macaroni and cheese." Trixie, "I don't want macaroni and cheese." She takes the pot of boiling water that is on the stove, pulls it right off the stove. "I don't want macaroni and cheese." The Super Nanny suggested that, Mom turn to Trixie and say, "Trixie, why did you do that? Why don't you go sit over in the timeout corner and take a break and think about why what you have done is wrong and how somebody could have gotten seriously hurt?" Trixie, being a child, she needs to know that that is a horrible thing that she just did. She could have hurt herself. She could have hurt her mother. She could have hurt her brothers and sisters. She needs to know the severity of that she had just done. So, ain't no please and thank you. What is wrong with you, Trixie? This is what I need. This is how I felt. Why? Because she needs to know that what she did was wrong. So if she's scared by me yelling at her, she needs to be scared. Because she would have been scared riding in the back of the ambulance with a 2nd-degree burn. I'm just saying, which would you prefer? I'm just saying.